Hey everyone, welcome to Network Spotlight. I'm your host, Mikhail. Today's guest is Giorgi of Aurox. Aurox started as a DeFi trading platform, and recently they announced that they're getting ready to come out with a wallet. We discussed how is this wallet different from the other wallets, what's Giorgi's background, and what's next for Aurox. Take a listen, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey,
Hey, Giorgi, how are you?
hi, good. How are you? Sorry about that.
No worries. It wouldn't be a Zoom call without technical issues, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks so much for joining. This is actually the first time we're having an opportunity to connect. Usually, I've been talking to your partner Taras.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to meet you. He said a lot about y'all, or you, and obviously Zurich as well.
Yeah, so Taras and I go way back to Bitcoin 2021 conference. You guys had a little booth in the back of the building,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
walking by. And I was like, you know what? This is a very aesthetically pleasing booth. So stop
yeah,
by, had a conversation. Tyrus was nice enough to show me a little bit about the platform and the demo. And yeah, that's when I knew you guys were gonna go places.
yeah. That was. We actually had to complain about that booth because we were one of the first ones to book, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a nice spot and all that," and they put us into like a whole. Like I don't think most people even knew that section even existed. And they're like, "Yeah, we'll make it up next year. We thought this would be like a nice place for people, and we were wrong." Blah blah. Blah. It was just, yeah, it was not good.
Well,
But
you
I'm
got
glad
my
you were able to
attention.
find it. Yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you were
And
able to find it.
at the time I was working for a marketing agency, and now I work for Certic, which is one of the more established Web3 security auditing
Yeah,
firms. And yeah, it was nice to connect with Taras, and he told me about some of the things that you guys are working on in terms of the wallet. And I certainly want to get to that point. But first, I want to learn a little bit about yourself, how you got into Web3, what's really driving you to create all this.
yeah. So I'll start from like basically when we were in high school. That's where I met Tars. Not in high school, but we were online marketing. We were doing like affiliate marketing and stuff. I was working at a summer job when I was like 14 or something because my parents immigrated here. We didn't have a lot of money, and if I wanted money, I had to, do that on my own. So I worked at a summer job, and it just was manual labor at a warehouse. It just sucked. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and started going online trying to figure out how to make money. And came across a software that was involved in the kind of the affiliate space. And turns out Tars also purchased that software. We made it just like $1,000 or something, which for a 14-year-old is like hitting a jackpot. And me and Tara started talking, and then we started other businesses and so on and so forth. Um, and after I finished high school, I was very involved in software and the technical aspects of the internet. So I ended up going to school for computer science, and that's where all this technical aspect and everything was really nurtured. And during college, we were also running our other businesses. One of them was a software as a service product, which ended up having to shut down for a variety of reasons, although it was very successful at the time. But after we made a lot of money through affiliate marketing and just e-commerce, software as a service companies, etc., we saw crypto taking off, and we were actually investing in cryptocurrency back in like 2016, I think. But we realized, why invest in crypto when we can invest in ourselves? We were like serial entrepreneurs. We had ran multiple other businesses, and we discovered that cryptocurrency was just, in its infancy. There was a lot of data fragmentation, and there just wasn't the same kind of information that was provided by like the financial industry, like the traditional finance industry. So we created the all-in-one trading terminal, which was Aurox at the time, or it's still is Aurox right now, and did that for over 2 years before we released it publicly in September of 2020. And we just saw tremendous organic growth on that. And while we were developing this, I started looking into Web3 because I saw it just the same way that we saw crypto taking off back then. I saw Web3 really picking up speed around early 2020s, and we started getting more involved in Web3. We wanted to incorporate some of the Web3 functionalities, like decentralized exchanges and trading and investing and money management into our ecosystem. And one of the products was the Aurox wallet. So yeah, long story short, that's kind of how we got involved.
Yeah, you mentioned you're an immigrant. There's something about that immigrant mentality that really motivates all of us, right? I'm an immigrant myself, so I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, when you come from, maybe where are you from actually?
So I was actually born in Azerbaijan.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're from like those kind of regions, Eastern Europe or Middle East or even Asia, you just have this, when you come to the United States, you want that dream and the American dream and having something big that you might not have had back in your homeland. And that's what motivated me and Tars as well, since he's also an immigrant.
Yeah, land of opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Well, how have those experiences that you've endured, how have they helped you create this wallet?
I mean, a lot of it is from over the course of, I don't know, it's been 15 years now or something. A lot of things that I learned online by myself and then in college has been incorporated into the wallet. So while I was learning about affiliate marketing, I was really involved in like learning about security. Like I was constantly monitoring like blogs, articles, researching myself and doing all that to really learn about what is going on behind the scenes of the internet. So we've incorporated some of those things that I learned into the wallet. For example, like the anti-phishing stuff that we've incorporated into the wallet is something that's been done on the Web 2 side, but is not being done on the Web 3 side. And that's why we're seeing so many hacks, so many phishing scams and things like that going on because companies are not incorporating what's the default in Web 2, which has been the default for the past decade. So a lot of the things that I picked up over the past several years has been incorporated into the wallet to make it easier, secure, especially secure compared to our competitors.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed on your site that you guys highlight the security features. And while we're on this topic of security, I know that you recently made the decision to work with CertIC on your security. Can you tell me a little bit about what went into that decision to work with CertIC?
Yeah, sure. So obviously the brand recognition is huge. You all have audited a lot of companies out there, a lot of the top companies out there. So we feel safe having our wallet audited by y'all. I think y'all have a team of security engineers that can take on this task. So that was one of the main decisions. We wanted to pick the best brand and best company out there in order to audit our wallet to make sure that what we've done is enough to be secure for someone else that's looking at our code. Um, that was one of the main reasons is we know that CertIC is good at their job and they have a huge brand behind them as well.
Yeah, security is not one of those things that's really a sexy topic, right? Everyone wants to talk about the innovation, but it's definitely a necessity. Now, there's some other features that are highlighted for your wallet, and one of those is this reward system that you guys have in place, which seems to be very unique from the other wallets. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so although we've spent a lot of time on the functional elements of the wallets, we think that it's going to resonate with a lot of our audience. We also wanted to give an opportunity to give back to our community as well, specifically in this case, our wallet users. Some of our competitors are making a ridiculous amount of money and they have nothing that they give back to the community other than the software itself. So we wanted to incorporate rewards in order to take some of the revenue that we're generating and literally create a community around the wallet itself. So some of the rewards that we're going to be doing is going to be like hosting events for specific tiers of wallet users, doing like ledger giveaways. So we would actually purchase like a coupon from Ledger or Trezor, and users can use that coupon. It'll be like 100% discount, and we can just give these away from time to time and have the users get a little more from their wallet than just, oh yeah, cool, I can send a transaction. Um, that way they can use their wallet just the way that they're using it now, and get rewarded from the revenue that our company generates in the back end.
Nice. So aside from the reward system, what are some of the other differences when you compare to some of the wallets that most people know about?
Yeah. So the first is obviously the UI and UX. Obviously, most people have downloaded MetaMask at this point and understand what it looks like. There's a lot of UX improvements that we did to make it easier for users to utilize our platform. For example, the simplest thing is the ability to import all tokens automatically. So our wallet detects when you receive a token, and it just goes directly into your balances without you even having to, click the import button, find the contract address, and do all those crazy steps. That's just one simple thing. The other one is we track US dollar prices for every single major EVM. So that's going to be Ethereum, Binance Chain, Polygon, and Avalanche from the get-go, from the MVP. And then we're going to be adding the other chains to have the full data. So users can see their US dollar prices, they can see their portfolio, they can even see the historical portfolio charts to see, if they're actually making the right decisions and right investments. Those are just very simple UI improvements. There's even the very basic ones, like if you switch over to our wallet and type in your mnemonic, it will auto import all the other accounts attached to that mnemonic. So you don't have to go in and click create new account to load all the previous accounts. It'll just do that automatically for you. So anyways, the wallet has just very, very simple things to make the lives of our users easier. That's one of the improvements. The other is obviously the security aspect. In order to protect our users, we've added smart contract monitoring. So we detect if a smart contract is open source, if it's part of our whitelist, which is going to be hosted by the FIO blockchain. It detects if the contract is potentially closed source or banned, and then warns the user as they're interacting with it. We're also having when the user interacts with a decentralized application, they can simulate the transaction before submitting it to the blockchain. And by simulating it, they can see the changes that are going to happen to their wallet as if they had already submitted the transaction. So if they come across a contract that's going to drain their wallet, instead of submitting the transaction and realizing afterwards, they can see this wallet's going to try to take your ETH and return absolutely nothing. They have a red warning screen saying that this contract is probably draining your wallet, and hopefully the users make the right decision at that point. Those are the main security features, but we also have like anti-phishing and a bunch of other things to make sure that our users are protected. If you go to like some of our competitors and sort the reviews by negative, if you sort them by the negative reviews, you will see a lot of people are complaining, I lost my $1,000 that was in there and they're not helping me. I lost this, or my mnemonic is, my wallet's been drained. I don't know what to do. So that's really bad for the adoption of Web3, and we wanted to stop that from ever happening.
So centralization is something that I think from like a user experience is very helpful. There's pros and cons to both, right? Where do you stand on the whole decentralization versus centralization?
Yeah, so our wallet is still decentralized. Even if our backend goes down, you still have access to your wallet, to your keys. They're all yours. The only thing that we're doing is we're just enhancing that experience. So we're using our backend to provide US dollar values, for example. We're using FIO blockchain, which is still decentralized, for the white contract or whitelist contract monitoring. That way, that part's not even on our backend. For the open source tracking, we're actually querying the Etherscan from the user's computer directly to check whether that contract is open source. So everything is kind of in a decentralized manner. But at the end of the day, if all those services go down, the user still will be able to send, swap, interact with decentralized applications. They just won't have the additional benefits that we're providing on top. It's an extension rather than centralization.
Understand. So, and besides FIO, I know you're also, besides the integration with FIO, you're also on Polygon and Ethereum. What went into your decision to have your smart contracts be on those networks?
So, so with Ethereum, obviously, a lot of it's everyone is using Ethereum, so it was the go-to default one that we wanted to get out of the way. That was just the main decision to get the exposure as much as possible from people that are using the Ethereum blockchain. With Polygon, obviously, we're working with them as well as they're doing some incredible things with scalability. I think the last time I checked, it was like 0.001 cent or something to send a transaction. And they're improving the speed and handling and everything across the board at a much quicker pace than any other blockchain that I've seen. And to be honest, as hopefully as the blockchain interoperability gets better, we do want to try to shift as much of our users kind of in behind the scenes, like the wallet would do it on its own, try to shift our users in the direction of some of the other chains because of the benefits they provide. Like the average user, someone that's not involved in Web3 or the decentralized finance, when they see a $20 or $30 gas fee on Ethereum, they think that we're charging it or the wallet provider is charging it, and it creates this adoption issue. Whereas if we're able to slowly shift these users to cheaper chains, the ones that are more dedicated to Ethereum because of everything that they've built on, they understand the gas fee, they're okay with it. Whereas the new users into DeFi, it's easier to onboard them when you tell them that there is no gas fees, basically. It's like pennies.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point in terms of Ethereum and the gas fees, and I know that we're getting ready to move towards 2.0, and the first step in that is the merge, which my understanding is it doesn't necessarily get rid of the gas fees, but it's a step in the right direction, right? There's like a four-step process. What do you think is going to happen in terms of long term, your business model long term?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the inoperability. We're hoping that inoperability gets better, where there's still different blockchains, but they interact in ways that are very easy for the user. That's what I want to happen over the long term. That way, we can really get rid of, you're on this network or you're on that network. None of that should matter. The user should be able to transmit money across any network with a click of a button. That's what I'm hoping for over the long period of time. As far as short period, the ETH 2.0 merge actually is going to introduce some very unique abilities we're exploring right now, which will allow for basically rewarding users for their volume. And that's another thing that we're exploring in order to kind of supercharge our reward system. So as users are actually making transactions on the ETH 2.0 network, they're getting some ETH back in return. And this has been discussed by some other people as well, but I think we're close to working a deal out with someone to basically reward users for in actual currency, not even reward points, actual currency for using our wallet.
So what do you think just moving forward? Right now, your main priority is this wallet, getting it off the ground, getting the users going. Where do you feel like your next step is in terms of
Yeah,
Aurox's development?
yeah. So the terminal is actually going through a huge UI UX redesign. The wallet's about to be released, and then after that, we're looking to expand out our smart contracts. We want to apply the same logic that we have with the wallet and kind of give that centralized feel, but keep it decentralized. So we are actually working with Chainlink as well. They have something called keepers that allow kind of smart contract automation, which is great for custom order management and portfolio management that is available on centralized exchanges, but not on at least mostly not on decentralized exchanges. So we want to create our own smart contracts to allow much easier order management and portfolio management using Chainlink's keepers as a way to automate that process. So to give you an example, for example, with DCA orders, not really possible on, at least right now, it's not really possible with some of our competitors, but by using keepers will be able to allow users to DCA as the token price is going down with a simple click of a button, and it will still be decentralized.
Yeah, DCA is a very popular investment strategy and one that a lot of people always preach by. I read what was it, Money by Tony Robbins, and he was talking about DCA. Everybody talks about DCAing. So I know that's a very important technique in the investing strategy. And while we're talking about investing, and I certainly always like to focus on technology and the fundamentals, right? Because that's here to stay. No matter what, the adoption is increasing. But in the short term, there is some geopolitical concerns, right? What's happening over in Europe and Asia, and I'm sure you're aware of everything that's going on. What do you think short term? What do you think is going to happen to the market?
Short term, I think we're like, to be honest, I don't expect a 2 year bear cycle like we did previously. I think, was it 2 years or 3 years? It was about two and a half or something along those lines. I don't expect a bear cycle like that, strictly because of just how much funding there is, especially in Web3 right now. Web3 actually raised the most amount of money of all emerging technology for the past, I think, 2 or 3 quarters now. VCs are just throwing money into it. Banks, even, I think Chase has like hundreds of millions now invested in Web3 projects. I think it's so I think the technology has transcended this speculation bear market that we had just a few years ago, and because of that, I think as the fear wanes, people are going to come back and start, making investments. Not only the companies, but obviously purchasing tokens for their utilities and everything else.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned VCs. You guys are no strangers to that as well, in terms of raising money. Can you tell us a little bit about, what went into that process, what you guys are doing with the funds?
Yeah. So we actually raised funds from more like small businesses or small family offices. We were shopping around our company for a few months. I mean, it's a very long process. You have to speak to a lot of VCs. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. But the problem with VCs at the time was that they were potentially asking for too much. And even when they're asking for, let's say, 10%, that doesn't matter because the contract basically allows them to dictate whatever they want. At least most of them, unless you're like a very big company and you can, force their hand instead. But for our company, it just didn't seem like it was a good option for us. And we started going, speaking with small family offices that were able to put the money together and allow us to keep the control. They just wanted equity into the company, and that was it. They're in behind the scenes. I just updated from time to time, and they let us do what we want because, I mean, it's in the better interest of everyone, for us to be successful, and they know that we can handle our business basically.
That's great. And it sounds like maintaining that control was something that was very important to you.
Correct. Yes.
So in
Yeah.
terms of
We had
the,
been,
go ahead.
sorry. We had been working on it for so long that losing control was just like would have been devastating. It just wasn't an option.
And that's a, for me personally, that's a sign of a good founder in terms of just you putting your heart and soul into everything that you're doing. And sounds like things are working out for you, Giorgi. I appreciate you taking the time to connect with us today. And where can people learn more information about the wallet or about you?
Yeah. So I'm on LinkedIn. However, I don't have a lot of time for social media, so they can look me up on LinkedIn and contact me there. They can go to our Twitter, twitter.com/getaurox, GETAUROX, or they can actually just email me as well, as long as they, keep it short and quick. I'll be able to respond to them. So if they do want to email me, GIORGI@getaurox.com, and I'll be available there too.
Wonderful. And any parting thoughts for the listeners?
No, not really. I mean, we're just excited to have Certic audit our wallets and be towards the end of our MVP cycle. It's been a long time coming, and having Certic go over our code and make sure that everything is good is one a little stressful, but also exciting as well.
Yeah, no, I know it's a stressful process, but it'll all be worth it in the end. Georgia, thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.